Hey, what you say, food family? Mike here, and today I got a super simple pressure cooker recipe for you as we're going to be making a pork loin in the Instant Pot. It only takes a couple steps and a few minutes, making it the perfect weeknight dinner anyone can pull off. Yes, even yourself. So that being said, ain't nothing to it but just to do it. Let's get cooking. Alright, like I said, we're going to keep things super simple today. I'm actually using a pre-marinated store-bought pork loin. We're going to do a roasted garlic and herb. You can get a plain pork loin and season it however you like. The most important thing to remember is to pull it out of the fridge about half an hour before you want to start cooking, just so it starts to warm up just a bit. If you're using the plain pork loin, like I said, season it and then let it sit there for about half an hour. That'll let those flavors penetrate. The only thing we need to do before we get started, I'm going to slice this in half just so it'll fit in here a little easier. Other than that, we can get this recipe started. Alright, so I got my pork loin cut in half just so it'll fit. Like I said, I'm going to start by putting the pressure cooker on saute mode, letting that heat up just a bit. I got some roasted garlic butter I made. If you like the idea of that, I'll put the link to that recipe in the description below. We'll let that melt alongside some olive oil. We're going to sear the outside of our pork loin on each side for about 2 minutes before we pressure cook it. This is an important step. It'll seal all those juices in and keep it nice and moist. No one likes a dry loin. Alright, my roasted garlic butter and olive oil has heated up, so I'm going to add the loin to it. We're going to cook each side 2 minutes like I said. Doesn't matter which side you start on. Just place these in there and let it go for 2 minutes. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes, so let's flip these over, get the next side. Alright, a couple minutes has elapsed. I'm going to go ahead and finish browning the other couple sides, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got all 4 sides of our pork loin seared. We're going to pull it out just for a moment. Nice crust on that. Look at that, it's beautiful. And while this is still hot, and we're going to make a mess here, we're going to deglaze it with about a cup of chicken stock. So pour that in, and then get your trusty wooden spoon out and scrape up all those tasty bits off the bottom of that pot. If you want to get fancy about it, it's called the fond. What it really means is it's a lot of delicious flavor. And we're going to take this juice and pressure cook with it. So we'll heat our chicken stock up at the bottom of the pot here. Get all those bits off. I'll swing that other camera around and give you a glance. It's got a nice dark color. And we can kill the heat for now. Alright, now that we've deglazed the bottom of our insert on our pressure cooker, we're going to add our trivet. That should have came with yours. Not necessary, but it prevents burning. And place our pork loin back inside. And if yours does have fat cap on it, you probably want that side facing up, just so those flavors will melt down through the pork. Alright, my pork loin was right at 2 pounds, so we're going to let this go. We're going to pressure cook it for 14 minutes. If yours is a little bit bigger, 16 minutes for 2.5 and 18 minutes for 3 pounds. And now that our pork's in here, nothing left to do but put the lid on it. Turn your vent to sealing and set that pressure cook. And that's it. Simply walk away and take a break, have a beer. I'll get back with you when this is done. Alright, my pressure cooker came up to pressure in probably 2 or 3 minutes since we used that chicken stock to deglaze the pan. It was already heated. It's been 14 minutes. The timer just went off. I'm going to let it natural pressure release, which will take another 15-20 minutes. That's a key step you don't want to skip. It really keeps those juices locked in the pork loin. So we'll let this guy release its pressure naturally, and we'll be right back and show you how it turned out. All right, it only took 15 minutes for my pressure cooker to naturally pressure release, whatever you want to call it. So let's open this thing up and give it a peek. All right, let's give it a temperature probe and see if we hit our numbers. Perfect. We are sitting at 148 degrees. Believe it or not, that is plenty cooked for pork. No one's had a case of trichinosis from pork in decades, so you actually want to just slightly pink in the middle, keep those juices in so it's nice and tender. So that being said, I'm going to let this rest a few minutes and then we'll slice it up and give it a taste test. Now, one step I almost forgot is we can use these cooking juices and make a delicious gravy as our pork actually rests. So instead of eating it on a bun, you can keep it low carb, keto, gluten-free, whatever you want to do, and we'll make a gravy to go with this. So I guess we'll take a little bit of cornstarch here. We're going to turn our Instant Pot back on, back to saute mode. Grab a couple tablespoons of cornstarch. Now, if you want to do it true keto or gluten-free, you can use arrowroot or any other thickening agent. Give it a stir. And these liquids are still super hot, so it shouldn't take but a couple of minutes for this to go from a thin liquid to a thick gravy. And it may have been wiser choice to use a whisk for this, but I think I got all my chunks just about broken up. Now, as you can see, that thickened up super fast, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more liquids back in there. We don't need that thick a gravy. Probably went a little heavy on my cornstarch there. Now we're looking better. Now I just add a little bit of water. You can add more chicken stock or wherever you have on hand, obviously. Now we got a gorgeous gravy. Look at that. Yeah. All right, I've already killed the heat once it thickened up. Like I said, it only took a minute. We'll let this stay nice and warm as our pork loin finishes resting. All right, we've got our gravy made. I already washed out the insert on the Instant Pot. It's only that fast. The pork loin is rested. So let's slice into this thing and see how it turned out. Perfectly juicy. Look at that. Like I said, it doesn't get much better than that. It's just about perfect. So let's give it a taste and see how it is. So tender, just pulls apart in your hand. Super moist. I'm gonna be ghetto here. I'm just gonna dip it straight in this gravy and see how it turned out too. That's heavenly, folks. That is pork deliciousness doubled down with a super porky gravy. So if you don't eat it like this, well, there's one other option. Let's put it on a sandwich. And what kind of sandwich we're gonna do? Well, a Hawaiian bun, of course. All right, I've got my delicious sweet Hawaiian bun here. It's the best, you can't go wrong. You know, normal folks can use a plain bun if you want, but you crazy. I'm gonna take a couple slices, because we're going big time here. Let's do 3 slices, because I ain't skinny, and I like to eat. We got our bun. We're not gonna stop there. Let's throw a little barbecue sauce on it. That's the stuff. Could use the gravy as well. Take a peek at that. Is that not a delicious looking sandwich? All right, let's give it a taste. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I actually like the barbecue sauce more or that gravy. That gravy is just so delicious, but that is amazing as a sandwich. That sweet bun with that roasted garlic herb pork. So delicious. It's super simple. It took what? 8 minutes of searing, 2 or 3 minutes to come up to temperature, 14-minute cook time, and 15 minutes to naturally pressure release. So we're talking 45 minutes, folks. Anyone can come home from work, pull their pork out of the fridge and start warming up, go in the bedroom, change, get ready, wind down, get this thing cooked, and have dinner on the table by 6:30 at the latest. So I don't know about you, but I think that's quite the meal. If you like what I made here today, be sure to check the link in the description below for other great recipes. Otherwise, make sure you get in the kitchen, make tasty food, and make the people around you happy. Mike here signing off, and as always, just keep cooking.